viewer, good day. The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. This is a novel by genre. The Bell Jar. The story of the Bell Jar starts like Esther Greenwood, a college student from Massachusetts, travels to New York to work on a magazine for a month as a guest editor. She works for a J.C., a sympathetic but demanding woman. Esther and 11 other college girls live in a woman's hotel. The sponsor of their trip wine and dine them and shower them with presents. Esther knows she should be having the time for her life, but she feels deadened. The execution of Rosenberg worries her, and she can embrace neither the rebellious attitude of her friend Doreen nor the perky conformation of her friend Betsy. Esther and Betsy and other girls suffer food poisoning after a fancy bouquet. Esther attempts to lose her virginity with a UN interpreter, but he seems uninterested. She questions her abilities and worries about what she will do after college. On her last night in the city, she goes on a disastrous blind date with a man named Marco, who tries to rape her. Esther wonders if she should marry and live a conventional domestic life, or attempts to satisfy her ambition. Buddy Willard, her college boyfriend, is recovering from tuberculosis in a sanitarium and wants to marry Esther. When he regains his health, to an outside observer, Buddy appears to be the male mate. He is handsome, gentle, intelligent, and ambitious, but he does not understand Esther's desire to write poetry. And when he confesses that he slept with a waitress while dating Esther, Esther thinks him a hypocrite and decides she cannot marry him. She sets out to lose her virginity as though in pursuit of the answer to an important mystery. Esther returns to the Boston suburb and discovers that she has not been accepted to a writing class she had planned to take. She will spend the summer with her mother. Instead, she makes vague plans to write a novel, learn shorthand, and start her senior thesis. Soon she finds the feelings of unreality she experienced in New York taking over her life. She is unable to read, write, or sleep, and she stops bathing. Her mother takes her to Dr. Gordon, a psychiatrist who prescribes electric shock therapy for Esther. Esther becomes more unstable than ever after this terrifying treatment and decides to kill herself. She tries to slit her wrist, but can only bring herself to slash her calf. She tries to hang herself, but cannot find a place to tie the rope in her low-ceilinged house. At the beach with friends, she attempts to drown herself, but she keeps floating to the surface of the water. Finally, she hides in a basement, crawls space and takes a large quantity of sleeping pills. Esther awakens to find herself in the hospital. She has survived her suicide attempt with no permanent physical injuries. Once her body heals, she is sent to the psychological ward in the city's hospital, where she is uncooperative, paranoid, and determined to end her life. Eventually, Philomena Guinea, a famous novelist who sponsors Esther College scholarship, pays to move her to a private hospital. In this more enlightened environment, Esther comes to trust her new psychiatrist, a woman named Dr. Nolan. She slowly begins to improve with a combination of talk therapy, insulin injection, and properly administered electric shock therapy. She becomes friends with Joanne, a woman from her hometown and college who has had experience similar to Esther. She is repulsed, however, when Joanne makes a sexual advance toward her. As Esther improves, the hospital official grant her permission to leave the hospital from time to time. During one of these excursions, she finally loses her virginity, and with a math professor named Irwin, she begins bleeding profusely and has to go to the emergency room. One morning, Joanne, who seemed to be improving, hangs herself. Buddy comes to visit Esther, and both understand that the relationship is over. Esther will leave the mental hospital in time to start winter semester at college. She believes that she has regained a tenuous grasp on sanity, but knows that the bell jar of her madness could descend again at any time. So this is the story of The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. Now, let us see that the title of this novel is The Bell Jar, written by Sylvia Plath, and genre of this is coming-of-age novel, autobiographical fiction, written in language. The language is English, so it is drafted in 1957, Cambridge, England, and publication published in 1963 under the pseudonym of Victoria Lucas. So, narrator of this novel is Esther Greenwood, first person narrator. So, tone of this novel is matter of fact, cynical, terse, detached, girlish, past tense novel, setting time June 1953, January 1954. Setting place of this novel is New York City, Boston, suburb, hospital, and around Boston. Protagonist or the heroine of this novel is Esther Greenwood. Major conflict occurred in this novel. Esther struggles against her oppressive environment and encroaching madness. Rising action of this novel. Esther spends a month as a guest editor in New York. When she returns home, she finds herself unable to read, write, or sleep. She receives her first shock treatment and contemplates methods of suicide. So the rising option, the climax reach of this novel is Esther almost succeeds in killing herself. So falling action, when it falls, the end of this, Esther recovers in a city hospital and then in a private mental hospital where she finds a psychiatrist whom she can trust. After losing her virginity, she prepares to leave the hospital. Theme of this novel is growth through pain and rebirth. the emptiness and conventional expectation, the restricted role of women in 1950s America, the perils of psychiatric medicine. Motives of this novel is news and fashion media, mirrors and blood. Symbol of this novel is the bell jar, the fig tree, headlines, the beating heart. So these are the themes, the symbols, and the background of this novel. The bell jar. I hope you will enjoy it. Thank you.